You see all this paper? Yeah, you guys aren't getting out of here very easily. So they told me 10 minutes, and I was like, yeah, it's not going to happen. Yeah, because I'm 27 years old, so I've lived a little bit of life. And I know I don't look 27, and I don't act like it either. So, but I just am somehow. So yeah, 27. My name is Joshua Cook. I'm a junior here at Frontier, and I'm from Ames, Iowa. Yeah. This testimony is going to be a little bit of a different format. I got 3 questions for you guys, and then I'm going to give you some background, and then I'm going to kind of tell my testimony in kind of a story format that I wrote for personal evangelism that I was hoping to keep to myself for the rest of my life, but God had other plans, so yeah, I'll share it in front of 300 people, I guess. So, first question I got for you guys, and you guys don't have to do all this raising hand thing. I just want you to think about it in your mind, answer to yourselves as I'm asking. So, first question is, who here has had a dream in life? And as you're thinking about that, what kind of dreams have you had? And the third question I have is, how many of you guys have actually asked God into those dreams that you've had? Because my testimony is going to be all about what happens when you live your life apart from God. And it's not pretty. To give you guys some background, I used to struggle with depression. Well, I still do. It's an ongoing thing, but God's helped me through it. And when I was young, an escape I used was video games. And this one video game that I played a lot was called League of Legends. And some of you are like, I have no idea what you're talking about, you nerd. But that's okay, I'll explain it to you guys. So it's this game on the computer, and it's pretty popular. There's like 100 million people that play it every month. And this game was my entire life. When there's like 100 million plus people playing a game a month, and if there's that many people in anything and it's very competitive, like there's gonna be money in it. And this game was rising in popularity when I was a kid, and there was a lot of money in it. And so my dream when I was a kid was to play this game, like either like streaming it or making YouTube videos or playing professionally, because you can do that these days. If you're not aware, you need to do some Google searches and get with the times. And so I played this game a lot, way too much. It was my entire life. I didn't even do schoolwork, and I got pretty good at it. I got to the top of there's like a leaderboard in the game. I got to one of the highest ranks, and I was like, oh, okay, maybe this dream is actually reality. Maybe I can do something with it. And so I started, I attempted to try to stream it on this website called twitch.tv, where people will stream themselves playing, and like you can make money doing that. Like there's actually money in that. And I was like, yo, this is sick. Like I want to make money playing video games. Like who doesn't want to do that? And so I started doing that, and pretty soon it took off. I started getting like a few thousand viewers like watching me live, and I was like, yo, this is pretty sick. Like I can't believe this is actually working. And some time goes by though, and I was like, the depression that I mentioned earlier, that came back and it started to hit me, and I just realized that I don't really care about this actually. There's not any meaning in this, and it's not giving me what I'm really looking for. Because I just wanted to live life for myself, and you're going to see throughout my testimony that just doesn't work out for me. So after a while of doing that, streaming, that doesn't work out for me. Then I thought, I quit doing that, and I had so many people telling me like, dude, what are you doing? Like you're giving up a great opportunity. I was like, well, I just don't care. It's not fulfilling me. And so some years go by, and then I tried to play professionally. And I was like, yeah, I'll give this a shot. Maybe that's what I'm missing in life. Maybe this is what's going to do it for me. And so I did. I moved out to Los Angeles, California. I got on a team, and I did that for a few years. I got to hang out with the people I used to look up to. I got to live in a nice apartment in LA. And I was like, yeah, now I'm getting the things I really wanted. This is what I really wanted out of life. But 2 years go by, second year, things just go downhill. And I'm like, nope. Once again, this just isn't doing it for me. This just isn't fulfilling what I'm looking for. And I didn't understand, like, why? Like, I'm getting everything I want, but it's just not satisfying this void inside of me. And so I turned to partying, turned to the party, LA nightlife, had some friends that introduced me to drugs, thought maybe this will do it, maybe this is what I'm actually missing. And as you guys can probably guess, that didn't go too well either. So I got what I wanted out of life. I got to be a streamer. I got to play professionally. I got to live the LA nightlife. And I'm like, woo, yeah, sick, yeah. No, it's just time and time again, I was just left feeling empty. And you guys might be thinking to yourself, like, Josh, you're just up here glorifying your sin. Why did they invite this guy to speak up? Speak up here. And the thing is, guys, if I was to stop there, you're right. But as you're going to see as I get into this, sin is deceptive, right? Like, sin seems good. It's tempting. Otherwise, we wouldn't do it. But the truth is, this was literally just killing me inside. I was dying spiritually. I was dying physically. Throughout all these years, like, I was so miserable. I was suicidal on and off throughout all of it. And if I wasn't to tell you all that, if I was to just tell you all the, seemingly cool things I did that weren't cool at all, then you would think that sin is great. But now I'm going to tell you guys the story. It's kind of in first person, active voice of where this all led to, kind of like what it all ended up leading to. And so, yeah, let's do this. It's around the start of COVID in 2020. I'm 22 years old, and I heard the gospel growing up, but chose to do things my own way. I never finished high school, and I dropped out of community college twice. And the only thing I've had success in is a video game, League of Legends, which I streamed and played professionally. This was my dream when I was younger, but I lost all my passion and I left the scene. I've struggled with depression for years, and it's getting worse. All my close friends are back in Los Angeles, and now I'm back home. I'm jobless in a toxic relationship. I have no goals, plans, or cares. I never leave my room, let alone the house, and I avoid those who care about me most. I'm completely isolated, and the only thing that's kept me sane this long is going to the gym. I can't go anymore because of COVID. So my days consist of alcohol, drugs, mindlessly consuming media, and I'm never sober. The amount of sleep I get and food I eat in a week is what a normal person gets in a day. I do whatever I can to escape reality as the weeks go by, and it seems to be working too until it doesn't. The days start to blend together, and I don't know if I'm awake or asleep. Then suddenly I snap back to reality and everything is blurry. I can't feel anything. I don't know where I am, and my mom is in tears, frantically shaking me awake, screaming at me. What is happening? I slowly come back to consciousness as I choke on my own puke. Close call. It's a sobering, daunting feeling when you feel like you've barely escaped death or at least some serious consequences. And this is the second time I went through something like this. It scares me enough to take a break, but the worst effect is traumatizing my parents. And it still isn't enough to stop me. I just keep going. The weeks go by, the downward spiral continues to the point of me completely losing touch with reality. And I'm scared to even be inside my own mind. All I hear is shrieking voices like nails on a chalkboard. Extreme paranoia starts to take over, and I almost send myself to the cops or hospital to escape some imaginary threat. I feel like I need to be locked in a safe with a straitjacket on. I think everyone is out to get me. I push away my friends, girlfriend at the time, can't even trust my own family anymore, and I don't even know who I am. My mind devolves into something like a TV full of static that can't get a signal. But I keep going. It feels like I'm trapped, teleporting through time. And I start to question if any of this is even real. In my mind, this is my reality. I'm imprisoned in a simulation being tortured, and the only way out is suicide. I feel like I must have done something horrible to deserve the suffering I'm going through, but I don't know what I did. All I can say is, why is this happening to me? This reality is too much for me to bear. I have to put an end to it somehow. All of a sudden, it goes silent. Nothing but darkness. I see for a moment what it's like to be in complete darkness, but for some reason I feel at peace. The voices finally stopped. I think, this must be what it's like to die. This is what I want. I've kept suicide in the back of my mind for years, but the guilt of leaving my family behind has always stopped me, and now that's gone. My consciousness is just completely destroyed. I can finally do it. I can put an end to this misery for good. Somewhere in that darkness, though, a little light somehow breaks through. I remember God. I've gotten so far from God, I forgot He even existed. How could I forget? I remember that I'm not right with God, and I'm scared of where I'll go if I die. All the peace I had turned into terror. In my mind, absent of any ability to think clearly, God breaks through and speaks truth that pierces my soul. So far in life, I've done everything I can to avoid making a commitment or choice, but here I am, with nowhere left to run, faced with the biggest decision of my life, and I completely understand the implications. For the first time in my life, I can see clearly. This is either the beginning of the end, life or death, heaven or hell, and I have to choose one. After a moment, I come to the conclusion that I need God. There's no other way. I'm terrified what awaits me on the other side if I die right now. And if I continue to live life on this earth, I can't do this on my own. So I reach out to God. He takes my hand and He pulls me out of the pit, and He sets my feet on solid ground. So that's what me getting what I wanted led to. That's what sin leads to. That's what it creates. It doesn't seem so great anymore, does it? It's not so, on the outside it seems like this great thing, but under the hood there's all this rotten, rusted, just disgusting, gross stuff. It's just, thing is, guys, since this has happened, since I turned to God, He's freed me from so much. And before, I had nothing. I literally just had nothing. I was constantly grasping. Raina kind of touched on this. It's just, you're constantly looking for this next thing to fill this void, and it's just nothing is working. And what happened when I did look to God, what the gospel is, I simply just took my trust off of all these other things that me and Raina were trying to put our trust onto, whether it was drinking, drugs, a friend, maybe being liked by people, or for me, a lot of times it was myself. And I put that trust onto God. I said, God, I can't do it, but You can. You are holy. I'm a sinner, and there's no way I'm making it up to heaven without You. What God's done for me since I've been saved, since I looked to Him, He's freed me from addictions. He's healed my mind. He's given me purpose, ambition, and goals. He's given me a reason to be alive, which I didn't have before. God saves, God transforms, God heals, and God is awesome. But sin isn't a joke. I still have scars. There's still stuff that is never going to be completely gone, and there's nothing I can do about that now except to rest in God's love and grace. But what I can do about it is what I'm doing right now, is making myself a spectacle to you guys to see where living in sin leads to. And there's no sin too small. A lot of you here are probably believers, and maybe you'll think like, this sin's okay, but no, it's never just one little sin. It always turns into more than that, and you can end up like this, just like I did. Most of you guys are at that age right now, where I was, where I took a nosedive, and you can make a choice today to get off this broad road of destruction and get on the narrow path that leads to life. Your dream is probably a lot different than mine was. I was a weird kid. But, we all have dreams. We all have things we want. And the thing is, if your dream, if your plans are apart from God, if you're doing that without asking him into those plans, you'll actually be lucky if it ends up like mine did, because what's even worse? What's even worse than ending up like I did is ending up in hell, because there's no way out once you're there. It was God's mercy to let me go through that, because he knew that's what I needed to turn back to him. And if you're a believer, a lot of you here are believers. You know what's even worse? Facing a holy God who suffered on the cross for you on Judgment Day, just to meet him in shame when he asks you, what did you do for me? Did you live your life for me, or did you live your life for yourself? What did you do with the life that Christ has given you? Because whatever you don't do for God, it's going in the fire. It's just completely worthless. God's going to ask you, did you give me a drink when I was thirsty? Did you feed me when I was hungry? When I was sick, did you visit me? Were you faithful with the good works I had laid out for you? Or did you just waste it all living for yourself? Let's pray. Lord, everything we have is from you, even our ability to breathe. Any ability I had to even speak up here is from you, Lord. You know it doesn't come from me. Lord, I just pray tonight that if there's anyone here that needs to decide to give their life to you or decide to give their plans to you, that they would do that. That they would take this to heart, Lord. Lord, I just thank you for who you are, that you're faithful, that you're good, that your plans are better than anything we could ever come up with. In Jesus' name, amen.